The man at the bus stop. Bad things come in threes, they say. I think it's true. Last month, I had to put my dog down. Buzzo got infected by some unknown bacteria while running in the city park. Though my vet tried her best to save him, but sometimes doing everything you can isn't enough. I cried a lot after burying him in our local cemetery. A week after this, I caught my boyfriend cheating on me. Our 4 years relationship ended in 1 minute. Then, when I thought things can't get any worse, I got fired from my job. I shut myself in my room and didn't go out for 2 weeks. The only thing that gave me the strength to get back up again was my art collection. It was the only thing that accompanied me through the difficult times. I spend most of my time looking and curating my collections. Soon, I managed to find a new job, albeit it was located very far from my home. It was a 30-minute bus ride and then a 20-minute walk to my apartment. That was pretty much the only downside. Because the bus ride was very boring and only a handful of people took the bus at such late hours. So, every day while leaving office, I prayed to God to get me home safely. It's scary walking home alone at night. Probably even more so for women. I often worked overtime, and by the time I got off the bus, it would be around 9 p.m. 20 or so more minutes of walking meant that I would get home near 9:30 p.m. In December, when it got dark by 5 p.m., it was pretty dangerous. I always walked as fast as I could and held my keys between my knuckles. The other hand was always in my coat pocket, ready to grab the pepper spray. For a couple of weeks, nothing ever happened until last night. Last night everything was different. I worked later than usual, so by the time I went to the bus stop, it was 8:30 already. The stranded bus stop stood on the street like a forgotten memory. The last bus comes at 9, so I realized I have to wait for half an hour. I shivered and scrunched up my shoulders. It was -15 degrees and I couldn't wait to get home and snuggle underneath my covers. My face was starting to get numb due to the cold. I kept my bag on the bench to light up a smoke. I have recently started smoking again. As I clicked my lighter and the yellow flame flashed up, my eyes went to the other side of the road. A guy was standing there, looking directly at me. His clothes were unclean, covered in patches of dirt. His blonde hair had a grayish tint as a result of seldom bathing. The skin of his face was in bad condition too. There were scratched wounds and pimples all over his cheeks and forehead. In one word, he looked like a homeless person with a serious drug problem. After staring at me for a few seconds, the guy started to slowly walk in my direction. I didn't flinch or reacted to this. I let out the first drag of my cigarette and just kept my other hand inside my pocket, grabbing the pepper spray tightly. He crossed the road and came to the bus stop. Not getting any reaction from me, he tried to act cool. He kicked a pebble on the street and then looked at me again. I could feel his eyes on me. But before he could walk up to me, bright headlights appeared from the distance. I looked up at the sky and thanked God for making the bus arrive earlier that night. Without wasting a single second, I threw away my half-burned cigarette and grabbing my bag got on the bus. But unfortunately, the man didn't leave me alone. He got on the bus too. There were 4-5 people on the bus. I sat down on a window seat and the man stood near the gate. As our eyes met, he grinned ear to ear, showing his grimy yellow teeth with stains of tobacco or God knows what. I realized he is planning to get off at my stop so that he can do whatever came to his mind when he saw me at that bus stop. But as haven't done or said anything disrespectful, so I couldn't take any actions against him yet. When my stop came, I got up to walk past him. I was waiting for him to do or say anything weird so that I can scream and tell the other passengers about him. But to my surprise, he moved out of my way like a gentleman so that I can get off the bus without any trouble. I got down and as expected he did the same too. I once again grabbed the pepper spray tightly because I knew now, he is going to follow me home. I turned around. And there he was following me like a night owl. His eyes glowed like a wolf. The sick smile remained on his face. He was walking at a slow pace. The sounds of his shoes crunching on the concrete ground increased my heartbeat. I started to walk faster. His footsteps quickened too. I gripped my keys tightly and looked back. He blew a kiss at me and called out to me, "Hey, baby, where you going?" I stopped and screamed, "Leave me alone or I'm calling the cops." "The cops will take 10 minutes or more to come for your rescue. Whereas I can cover the distance between us in 5 seconds or less. Do you still think that's a good option?" Ha 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 ha. I started running. I knew he was going to follow me and I couldn't let him follow me home. Gasping for breath, I blindly turned into a smaller side street. The streetlights started flickering violently, matching the rhythm of my heartbeat. Shit. It was a dead end. I was trapped. I turned around and faced him. The streetlights stopped flickering and stayed on. As he walked closer to me, I saw his face more clearly. He had a bad odor like a goat. His blue eyes sparkled and he gazed at me hungrily. He smiled creepily and spat on his palm. Then wiped the saliva all over his face like he was applying sun cream. I slowly put the keys in my pocket and tightened my grip on the pepper spray. He walked closest to me and said in his cold, spine-chilling voice, "I told you it wouldn't take more than 5 seconds. So, what now, little birdie? Are you planning to fly away?" I took a step back and he let out a demonic laugh. Ah ha 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 ha. I loved the fear in your eyes. It will feel nice to tear your clothes apart and enjoy what's underneath. He grasped my shoulders and pulled me closer to him. Are you ready, my love? I took out the pepper spray, aimed at his eyes. In a second, he fell on the floor screaming in excruciating pain, and I let out a sigh of relief. Now, I can finish my business in peace. While he laid on the ground writhing in pain, I took out my last and final weapon. A blank syringe. I filled it with air and then pushed it on the exact spot around his neck which will make his heart collapse in no time. This is how I hunt my victims. It's easy and safe. Once his movements stopped forever, I took out his eyes. This is going to be an extraordinary addition to my collection. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I love collecting human body parts that remind me of an incident. Like his eyes will remind me of this night. I have prepared a jar full of chemical solutions. I keep his eyes in them. Right beside my boyfriend's heart.